Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna, this is my mom Gina.
He's the journalist.
And she's the enthusiast.
I am an enthusiast because we get to talk about your favorite best friend, LeBron James, today.
Well, you know, I would claim him as my best friend, but he's not. I'm a D-Wade guy. I'm just classic like that with D-Wade. But I do respect LeBron in different ways. But he's not my favorite.
No,
he's not. He's not my best friend.
No, he's not.
He's your best friend, though, and I know that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about LeBron James.
The flip.
Yes, the flippy flip. No, we are going to talk about LeBron James, and we're going to talk about some NBA All-Star news that came out last week. And if you guys have some comments or anything like that you want to.
Well, because we're also talking about Russell Westbrook.
Yes,
one of my
exactly.
Favorites,
so yeah, continue to comment and share your thoughts with us on any of these topics, really. But so our title is LeBron is down and Westbrook is out. And we'll get to the Westbrook part here in a little bit. But LeBron being down, what are we talking about here? And so the last couple games have not really gone the way as the Cavs have wanted.
They're 5 and 7 several games.
Right. And LeBron was not happy last night.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. They've won their. Didn't they win? They played 7 games. They've lost 5.
They're like
5 and 2 is what it is. How their last 7 games.
No, I think that I don't know exactly.
Whatever it is, they're not winning.
They haven't been winning consistently over the last few games, and I thought it was 5 of 7 that they've lost.
Right.
I thought they dropped a large number of games, which is why LeBron isn't happy, because one of his statements was that we won the championship game last year, but we're still not playing at a level that we should be playing at. And we've heard LeBron have these comments before, and we know that he gets frustrated with his teammates. And so he's been known, at least these last couple years, at least when he's been with the Cavs, to be very critical of his teammates. And I know you have some thoughts that you want to share about what he had said last night, or what do you feel like is kind of going on with LeBron right now?
Well, here's what I want to say. I actually am going to shock people, because I think there's a both and to this. On the one hand, I actually see LeBron's side of this. And on the other hand, it just reaffirms why I'm not a big LeBron fan. Okay. So let me start with what I see on his side of this. LeBron is saying that last night I had to play 40 some odd minutes in a game in the middle of the season. They're getting like 40 something into the season right now, just ahead of the All-Star break. So why am I playing this many minutes right now? And the reason is because he doesn't have a bench. He's basically saying, listen, if me and Kyrie both sit down, we're getting blown out. I'm just trying to keep us in position, because at the end of the day, they're going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to run through the East. But do you want to come into the playoffs as the 8th seed because you can't win a regular season game?
Right.
Or does it take you and Kyrie to play a combined 90 minutes? You're both playing 45 minutes in order to get a win. So I understand his frustration. Now here's where it's back to good old LeBron. Because then in the last couple of games, he's sitting there making mistakes himself. No one is perfect. And then he's yelling at, they had an inbound pass and they couldn't get the ball in. And he turns around to grown men. Kyle Korver standing right here. You got people, and he's over there going, I mean, I'm over exaggerating because that's how it looked. He's literally making this face and waving his arms and yelling. Now, I coach youth sports. You coach youth and high school and whatever. But my point is, I watched a lot of youth basketball this week in that tournament, and I saw a lot of 13-year-olds and 12-year-olds doing this. I don't expect to see it from a grown man on the NBA floor. If you're disappointing your players, you cut them that dad look that people do. And then you move on and you go to the next play. Basketball's a game of next play. You can't stand there flapping your arm. You don't see Tyronn Lue flapping his arms. So what are you doing? And then he gets in the post-game interview and he's dropping F-bombs left and right and basically calling people out, throwing Michael Beasley out there, which he was complimenting Beasley, K-Stater. Yeah. Basically saying, I wish we could get a Michael Beasley. He was basically putting the GM on blast for not getting him enough weapons off the bench. And JR is out, so I get it. Yeah. But that's back to why I don't like LeBron. I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not even saying he doesn't have a point. It's how he expresses that point that I have a problem with.
Well, and I feel like a lot of his expressions are outward instead of inward. And I feel like, to the 2 examples you just gave, he had an instant against the Spurs where they had a design play called and it was an inbound that didn't go the way it was supposed to. And then there was another one with the Pelicans last night where same exact thing was supposed to happen, and he was doing the same thing. And it's one thing for the head coach to flap his arms and say, hey, let's go, I just called this, or you guys got to have better spacing. It's another thing for your all-star player to be throwing a tantrum or out of control. There's nothing wrong with holding the line and saying, "Hey, we got to step it up." It's another thing to be just doing what he's doing. And so LeBron again has a point to, "Hey, I'm playing a lot of minutes. We are struggling. We're in a slump right now." And I guess my next question to you is that just because there's just too many games? Is that why there is so many minutes being put on these guys? Is because it's like, "Hey, we've got to bank all of these games now so that way we can be okay for later on." I think that's kind of the mentality of it right now, is there's so many games that these games that shouldn't matter do matter because they have to get in the lead. And to your point, to what you were saying, is that they're in the East. They don't need to necessarily worry about it, but that's to the point that we've been saying for a long time now, is there's just too many games. Do you think that does have an effect on why they're playing so many minutes?
To answer your question, let me give you a hot yes. Yes, it's too many games, and this is part of the problem, is that you said they're 45 games in, and you've got to run your all-stars' legs off.
Right.
Because, yes, he's going to make the playoffs, but does he want to come in as the A seed, the 6th seed, or does he want to come in the top seed?
Right.
You want home court advantage.
Yep, yeah.
There's reasons that they have to play out like this.
Sure.
And now I will say this. I look at Tyronn Lue, who I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Kansas City guy, played in Nebraska, Lakers all-star champion. We love Tyronn Lue.
Of course.
But to me as a coach, my youth sports background, if you're going to lose to the Pelicans and you see that, or if you have to play LeBron James 40 minutes to get past the Pelicans in game 45
and
of
still
the season,
lose,
and still lose, maybe you reflect on that and say, I'm going to go ahead and sit you the fourth quarter.
Right.
We're going to let these bench guys,
since
who
we
you're
do have all
about,
of these games, we've got another one coming up.
Get in here and take that loss. You don't have, it doesn't have
We're
to be
down by
LeBron
15, 20 points at this point in time.
And
yeah,
maybe,
sure.
and I don't know this, but maybe the bench gets better when they play.
Right.
Sometimes people get better by actually getting your behind out there and having to play ball. Okay, we'll move on.
And sometimes you just lose games, and that's just what it is, and you just move on from it.
Because at the end of the day, you ran his legs off and still lost.
You ran his legs off, and you get bad press from him, and you get a bunch of negative things going on, and so you don't want that. But yeah, I agree. I just think there's it just goes to the point of what we've been saying.
I have one last point to make about that. We said they should start the season after Christmas.
Right.
If you remember, they didn't. Not only did they not play in Memphis, they didn't even travel to Memphis because that was a week before Christmas. Now it's after Christmas. They run it 40 minutes long.
So clearly, you're sending people even beforehand, before Christmas, and now you're running people past Christmas.
So my point is, maybe you don't start till Christmas. All right.
Okay, well, speaking of games, let's go ahead and talk about this All-Star break that is getting ready to take place here coming up.
I'm going to the All-Star game this year.
Are you going?
No, I'm lying.
Okay.
I think if
you know something that I don't know.
If you speak it into being,
all right,
keep speaking it.
Well, the big uprising that happened was the Western Conference All-Star starters.
Right.
There was everyone was up in arms about Russell Westbrook not being named a starter for the game. And now we all know it's more just about the fans getting a chance to hear their player, and as a player getting your name called over the Jumbotron or the loudspeaker. But what difference does it really make? Is it that big a deal, or is it really a big deal? I guess I don't understand. Some people were saying that, hey, Steph Curry needs to sit, they were switching out certain players. I have a person that I feel like should sit out, or at least not be named as the starter, so that way all of them can get in. What are your thoughts on this whole situation here and how they're being selected at that?
Well, two questions. One, my thought on this is that the NBA All-Star break is an ego, let me stroke you thing. It's just like the Pro Bowl. Right. It's just like MLB's break, but the All-Star game in MLB, I mean, they have there's actual consequence to who wins and who goes. But at the end of the day, there are bonuses for getting there. You get the trip, and it's an ego stroke for the guys whose names are called.
Completely.
So at this point, Russell Westbrook is going to the All-Star game. Right. He was named an All-Star, but since he's not a starting five, when they announce your starters and the lights go down, it's just like any high school game.
Right.
Anytime someone's announcing who the starters are, you want the respect of going out there and doing your dap and chest bumping and doing a hot dance. And Russell's going to miss out on that because he's not a starter. So that's what the quote-unquote big deal is. And if you look at talent level, it's like, does he deserve to start? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I think there are people he can replace? Of course, there's always that. but it's not who everybody's yelling about. Everybody's like, oh, it should be Steph Curry, because apparently they were in a tie and the fans broke the tie break and leaned Steph's way. Steph Curry is your reigning MVP, unanimous MVP from last year, back-to-back championships. If you're going to sit somebody or someone's coming off the bench, it's not Steph Curry, folks. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Two-time league MVP.
It's ridiculous.
And yes, it's Steph Curry. I agree. I don't think Steph needs to be sitting. I think Kawhi Leonard needs to be sitting. He's been named an all-star. You can bump everyone down. You can still have Steph, Russell, James Harden as your top 3 guards.
There you go.
And then you still have Anthony Davis, who is still out there as well. And I don't think there's any reason for why Kawhi needs to be out there as a starter. He has no problem coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. I don't think it's a big deal to him.
Why aren't the fans complaining about, oh, they voted in Kawhi Leonard? He's coming out of the Spurs. They're actually doing pretty decent right now.
Right.
It's like Steph Curry's name should never be intertwined with who's sitting Steph.
Exactly. It doesn't make much sense. And oh yeah, and Kevin Durant is also is the so KD could play the 4 and Anthony could play the 5, and then you have your 3 guards with Westbrook, Harden, and
they've
Steph.
changed the voting, because you used to have the vote by position.
Yeah.
So you don't have like vote for your favorite center, vote for your same 4, because now in NBA you got 7-foot guys playing point guard, shooting, being your shooting guard and stuff like that. So that they kind of threw that out and just said, give us your top 5.
Well, and it's a combination of coaches, players, and fans. And one coach, before we wrap up here, was saying that he was disappointed in how the players were handling the voting. And so I feel like, kind of like with Richard Sherman for the NFL, how he was saying there's too many rules, they need to simplify. I think they need to do the exact same thing for this NBA voting, for the NBA All-Star voting. They need to simplify, either just be all fans or just coaches or just players. I think having a culmination of all of it gets it too dicey, and then you have the tie-break situation. Right. It's just too much going on there. And so therefore now Russell Westbrook is out of the starting lineup. And then it's the perception of him not being paid due for what he deserves, which, whatever, who cares? I would just want to see, it's going to be 200 to 220 anyways. I
was going to say, are we really
who cares?
About this? Isn't he getting his bonus check? Isn't he going to play in the All-Star game? Isn't he going to go do the jungle gym, the relay races and all that stuff? This is ridiculous. It's a stupid argument.
Nonsense, but I do understand why Russ does feel like he's getting slighted, and so.
Well, how about this, Russ? Go win as much as you can.
Right. Well, yeah.
By the way, I heart Russell Westbrook.
The NBA season is in full effect, and so we're going to continue to bring you all the NBA updates. The All-Star game we just said is coming up, and so we're excited about that. And so please continue to follow us on all of our social media. We're really excited to just continue to bring you more, and we want to say we appreciate your time, and thanks for watching, folks.
Thank you, Facebook Live.
Facebook.